It looks like you're all set. I hope everything's going well with you.
Yeah, for me, everything is well. I hope you're doing fine too.
Yes, very much so. So really happy to have you in this room. And again, thanks so much for sponsoring the event. We appreciate this so much. Thanks so much.
Very welcome and happy to be there. Yeah.
Great. Take your time and enjoy.
Okay, perfect. So the presentation is visible on the screen?
Yes, we can see it. All's working well. All right.
Okay. Hello everybody and welcome to our short presentation. So you have already seen a lot of things in the video. So I will try not to be too boring after you've seen a lot of information already. Just to give you a bit of information about who we are. So CARRIDA Technologies in the parking market is quite young, but we are a joint venture of two companies of a long time history in image processing. So mainly the company CARRIDA Technologies has been founded as a joint venture in 2017 by two companies. One company is a German company that is doing smart cameras, so small little things like this, for more than 20 years. And altogether we have a bit more than 120 years of combined knowledge in image processing, deep learning, and character recognition, which is needed for license plate reading. So the company's main product is a software, a quite huge and very performant software tool, which is completely hardware independent. So we'll see this later on. Today we will have the focus on parking solutions on the standalone applications. It's based on artificial intelligence. So it's a neural network that does the license plate reading. We have a worldwide coverage, so we can read plates of all over the world. And you can also then adapt the software and the hardware exactly to your needs. We will see that later on as well. And no additional hardware is required. Of course, depending on the application, but to do the license plate reading, the list management, it's done all board of a very little component. As you've seen in the movie, we can use these technologies not only for parking, but also other applications where ANPR, ALPR is needed and used. So it's urban planning and traffic for traffic analysis, public safety, law enforcement applications, and today we're going to talk about access control, of course, then mainly for parking areas. So our specialty is to have this standalone. That means it's a standalone system, hardware and software. This is the most recent development. It's the CARRIDA CAM Basic Plus. It's probably, or definitely one of the smallest, maybe the smallest standalone ALPR, ANPR camera solution on the market. So I have one with me just to have an idea to see how small it really is. It's the best to have the relationship within the hand. It's quite lightweight. It's ready to install. It has an outdoor housing with integrated heater and a very user-friendly web server configuration option. That means to have access to the camera, to do all your settings, you just need a device that has a browser, you access to the camera. So just a quick view on the graphical user interface that you see here. You can have the live image display. You can set your region of interest for the reading, for the brightness control. You can set up your lists over the GUI, but you also have a REST API, so you can include the camera fully into your backend system. Then we also have an OEM option. So that means we already have customers that have designed their own ANPR, ALPR camera, and for example, only using this. So this is everything you need. You have the CPU, the memory, the image sensor. Of course, you need a lens, you need optics and lighting, but this is the basic and this is doing everything. So by using electronics only, you could then build your own smart LPR camera, or you integrate it into your barrier or into a poller. So it's quite very flexible solution, even then to build your own OM smart LPR camera. As I said earlier, the software is completely hardware independent. So you can even, we will see an application later on, you can even build a solution based on a Raspberry Pi or on an NVIDIA CPU, GPU board. So you are completely free in choosing the right fitting hardware for your application, and then you can have the software solution running and embed this into your full package solution. Then, as I said earlier, so this is really the basics. So we are providing the basic components in hardware and software to build a standalone LPR, NPR solution. You can use the ready-to-use outdoor ruggedized housing solution, or by using the electronics to build up your own solution, depending on the application. Then I brought to you maybe new ideas. It's not the typical parking solutions. So we made one project with Bosch security systems here in Germany. This is an application targeting truck parking. So in Germany as well, we have a huge problem with trucks on the highways. So after a defined time period, they have to stop the trucks. And we have the problem that we have too many trucks, but not enough parking space along the highways in Germany. So that's a safety issue, because then very often you see trucks that will almost stand on the highways because they don't get enough parking space on the parking lots. And that was the idea of Bosch, to extract parking space outside of the highways, but close to the highways on private ground when space is not needed. And then this is done fully automatically. So it's very small, you can hardly see it. So this is the ALPR camera that reads the license plate of the trucks. The truck itself has been registered in forehand in a cloud-based system, where all then the back end, the payment and the management is done. In this case, the camera only reads the plates and then transfers the plates to the server. There's a nice video on YouTube, also on the Bosch website, that you can visit. So I've put the direct link here below the image. So later on, you can have a look at the full video. It's quite nice. Then we have here something completely different. It's also a parking solution. It's mainly for company parking areas or semi-private parking areas. It's completely solar battery powered. So you see the battery pack inside here, the solar panel, and this solar panel is generating enough for these 3 parking spots. We will see this in more detail. So this is a very low-end solution developed by one of our partners in Switzerland, a company called Inspectron AG. So what you see here, you have a Raspberry Pi that does the computing, and it's more than enough to do everything of the control. You have an LED panel that will show you if the wrong car would go into the parking spot. You will get the feedback, please remove your car, it's reserved for, and then it will show the registered license plate. With this see here, so this is now in red. This means this place is reserved for. That's a project in Switzerland, ZH 4x5. You have an online booking and payment with a local list upload from the cloud to each sign. So each sign has its own CPU and LPR capabilities, and everything is done through mobile network. I'll just go back. So you see the different electronics within this outdoor ruggedized system, and everything is powered by the solar panel. Then the next is to show, this is another partner we have in Denmark. It's a company called Simpliture. They have made a complete park management system, as you've also already heard earlier today. So LPR, of course, offers a very flexible way of access granting, payment options, and customer data usage. And this is what they do. They've chosen now for the new projects our cameras because of the ease of integration through a standardized REST API to very easily integrate our camera into an existing backend system solution. So this was a very quick overview about the options that you have with a very small system. And we're going to have specific webinars over the next month to show how the software looks like, how very easily you can set up the parameters within the camera, and also how to build up your own OEM-based LPR system. So I hope it wasn't too fast, and I hope it wasn't too boring. If you have questions, please, I'm ready to answer them now.
For sure. It definitely wasn't boring and very timely, so well done. There's a lot of questions that came in. I don't know if we have the time to answer them all live, but we'll make sure to share them with you, as well as the contact details from you that we will share with all the attendees. One question that came in and I thought was really interesting: does the ANPR camera have WiGAN or OSDP connectivity?
No. The standard version has Ethernet, and then of course all the different protocols, but it's limited to network. It's power and network. We have IOs, so depending on the application, you can trigger a signal to open the gate or not open the gate. So you can also have list management on the camera directly, but it's purely network, IOs, and power.
Okay, I think that already answers the next one. What about the energy consumption? Is there an option with battery? But I think if you're using power over Ethernet, then there will also be no battery, but perhaps you have a different answer.
No, so if you want to use it for batteries, that's very similar to our partner in Switzerland did. You need an external battery pack, but power consumption is very low. It's about between 5 and 6 watts.
Okay. That's indeed very low. That's also because of the Raspberry Pi, I guess. Is the camera IP67 rated?
Yeah. So if you go for this option, which is fully outdoor, it's IP67 with a built-in heater to withstand as it goes from -20 degrees centigrade up to +50 degrees centigrade.
All right, great. What are the communication possibilities? Are you using APIs or?
Yeah, so if you let's say run it directly, you can, as I've shown, just through a browser. There's a full web server running on the camera, and we have a full REST API, so you can have access to all the settings through the REST API, and also all the communication options can be used using the REST API.
Okay, great. And does it need to be connected to a local PC or server running the software? No, it runs on the camera itself.
Yeah, all of the software, all the reading software, all the lists, everything is stored within the camera. So we have a 16 gigabyte flash memory on the camera for the list. So you can also store all the readings, even if you don't have access to a server. You can store all the results on the camera. You have the list on the camera, and then you can have access one time per day to the camera to extract the reading if you have a completely remote standalone application.
Brilliant. Then there's the last question about the costs of a CARRIDA cam. I think that's a question to ask directly, or is that something that you can in general talk about, or otherwise we'll forward that person to email you directly?
Yeah, I mean, it's one price that is it's official, so it's a one-off list price. Is about 1,500 euros. This is for the outdoor housing, ready to run camera, but then of course, depending on the hardware options, the quantities, and if it's purely OEM, if it's the electronics only, of course, pricing is different. But then of course, this is a question I'm very happy to answer by email to everybody who would have interest, of course.
For sure. Well, we will share. There's already an email address and a phone number on the screen for all attendees, and we'll also share an overview of contact details with the attendees. Might they have more questions, and I'm sure they will. Okay. Thank you so much, Jan-Erik. It was great to see you again. Thanks again for sponsoring, and we'll make sure to play your CARRIDA videos so everybody knows what you're doing and who you are. So thanks so much.
No, I thank you. Thank you.